This is my very first session with Kitai in the training building, and with doing anything with her with a clicker. It's actually really cute that she went to check that out, but I was busy getting some food ready. And all I'm doing at this point is rewarding any motion, anything I think is interesting. There's no particular criteria, but I want to reward when she does something, not just when she's standing there. So sometimes that's something maybe hard to see on the video because she looks up at me or she does something with her paw. Really all I want her to learn here is that when I click, she gets a treat. And so I'm just looking for excuses to click. It doesn't really matter what it is at this point because she doesn't know anything. I mean, she's 7.5 weeks old. She had a plane flight home yesterday, so that was a new experience. She met her new pack mates. That was a new experience. She slept in a crate by herself last night. That was a new experience. So I don't want to expect anything here. I just want it to be fun. One of the other things that you might notice when I'm doing this is she actually does some interesting things that she doesn't get clicked for. Part of the reason for that is I was trying to wait until she was finished chewing up the previous piece of kibble. So the kibble bits that I'm giving her right now are the food that she's on. Didn't want to change food within the first couple of days, but I will start phasing it over to the food that I feed, the puppy version of the food that I feed to my dogs. So you'll see several times where she does something that normally I would click. I would want to reward that and make it more likely to happen. But here I don't want to give her more kibble than she can actually take. In hindsight, when I was watching the video, I thought, I could have clicked and offered it. Even if she wasn't ready to take it yet, at least she would hear that click. I'm not positive which is better. Right now, there's a click and then there's a distinct piece of food, so that's got some advantages. But again, I'm just kind of playing around with things. Here I toss the kibble away from me so that she has to move away from me, and then my thought here was I might reward her if she looks back at me. And I do say her name a couple of times. Again, not positive that that's the perfect thing to do right now because she doesn't always look at me when I say it. I don't want to teach her to ignore her name, but this is a little bit of an experiment, just see what works. There I'm clicking for her looking at the balance cushion. And then I'm going to start treating on top of the cushion just to build some value for it. Again, I don't actually care today if she interacts with it, but I wanted her to see it as a positive thing. So. Here I was happy that she sort of settled down facing away from me and facing towards the cushion. Oh, and then we get a paw on this side and then one on that side. Now I'm really happy that she's got a paw on the cushion, so I also try to increase my animation, tell her what a good dog she is. I do try to give her a few treats in succession. And that's a treat just for coming back and looking at me. Again, I'm not particularly caring what actions I get with the paw. I do want to reward and make a bigger deal of that because that is something that we'll be working on. Eventually we want to work up to getting a couple of paws on there, which amusingly we get that this session even though it didn't have any particular criteria. There we go, there's two. So I'm very happy about this, very excited, try to feed her a bunch of treats while she's in that position. A lot of the credit for her being willing to do this, and as you see, she hopped over it and had no problem with her back feet going on there and the whole thing wobbling. A lot of the credit for this goes to her breeder, Karen, because Karen raises these puppies in a very sensory-rich environment. They have objects that move, that swing. They have a plastic slide that they can slide down. So the puppies that Karen produces are very confident with items that move, whereas puppies that may not have seen that could be very startled by it. So you can see Kitai's quite comfortable. And then another thing that happens right there is she actually does a couple of sideways steps with her back feet while her front feet are on the cushion, and that will actually be the start of pivoting. But here she's just doing so many things that I liked. I can't reward her as fast as I'd like to because it simply takes her a long time to chew the cookies. So I try to keep my voice very animated because that's an additional reward for her.
Super. Good girl.
So she got a bunch of treats in rapid fire succession, and she started not being interested in them. I try to use my voice and be playful with her. Here I actually lean in a little bit too quickly, and that startles her. So when she comes around, I try to, get her back in my space. I'm checking to see if she wants more of the kibble, but I think she's more interested in playing now. That was a lot of kibble all at once, and I'm, totally fine with doing something else. She went back by the cushion, so I do give her one more piece, and I decide we're going to switch to play. Another task for me, not a task, this is a game, but another thing I want to accomplish in this first week is learn what kind of play that she likes. And because as my dogs grow up, we tend to work more and more for play and less for food. We do both, but I like to have play. It gets them excited. It makes them, in my experience, it makes them more willing to try things that they might otherwise be, more hesitant about. And the play gets their energy level up, and they go out and do, fun things. I do still like food because I think it's easier to teach something that requires them to really think when I'm just treating with single pieces of food. The play, at least with my current Border Collie, it tends to get her very focused on the game, and so she's trying to learn something that's mentally complicated. I find she does that better when we use food. But here I'm not trying to get any behaviors other than play. So I'm trying to find out, what does she like? What does she want to do? This is her first day home. So I'm actually really pleased that she's playing. She sometimes brings the toy back to me. I would normally want to have a much wider range of kinds of toys around me, but honestly, first night home, I forgot to bring a lot of the toys that were in the other rooms where we had been the evening before into the training area with me. And so all I had were these gloves, which my older Border Collie loves to play and fetch with those, but I want to have more options for Kitai to find out, what does she like. She did like it when I would drag the toy on the ground. She liked to chase it and bat at it with her front paws, and that was good. We did some of that. But of course, she also can probably get tired pretty quickly at this age. This has been a lot of new stuff. Again, this is only her first morning home, and it's still fairly early in the morning. You can see it's still dark outside. That's not because she wouldn't sleep. That's just my normal schedule is I'm up before dawn. But here I think she's doing well. She's interacting with me. We play a little, what I call bitey face. It's actually bitey hand, but I play with her with my hand acting like, little soft bites. And she gets my hair at one point, little puppy teeth. I do take my hair back from her, but at this point I'm trying not to say no to anything she does in play. I can worry about trying to extinguish some of that later. Right now, I want her to feel like everything's a very positive experience while she's playing with me. And there might be things I like less than others, but right now I just want to see high excitement. I love this little game of chase she plays there on the ground. Really nice energy there and good interactions.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, puppy. Whoa! Yay! Good girl. Oh, it's gonna get away. It's gonna get away. Yes, it is. Woo! That one's dead. That one's dead. This one's alive.
So again, just having fun playing with her. Might be getting a little tired. Here I make a funny noise to try to get her interested again, and she thinks that that's more interesting to interact with me. So I definitely want to reward that too. I like it when they can either play with just me or play with a toy. In particular, if you don't have a toy with you, it's great if they see playing with you in your hands to be fun. My current Border Collie is very fetch oriented, so she doesn't play as much. If I don't have a toy, she tries to go find one. And whereas I had a Belgian sheepdog many years ago who was great with playing with me with my hands. Now here I love it. I was checking to see if she wanted some more kibble, if she had gotten hungry again. And she went right to the balance cushion. She's like, oh yeah, this is what we do when we're getting kibble. And she's still playing here and having a good time. Just starting to think about wrapping it up. Coming up on 11 minutes of training/play session. That's, in my opinion, that's a pretty good long time. And I don't want her to get so tired that it's not fun. And even though I am not expecting anything in particular here, I want to quit while she still wants to do some more. I don't know her yet, so it's hard for me to know exactly where her sweet spot is in terms of length of a session we have where we're just interacting a lot. But fortunately, right around now, my husband comes out from the main house, and we both hear that, and so that's kind of a good stopping point. And I wait to, he's coming around, I wait to sort of see what she does with that. And I'm getting up here, I actually like the fact that as soon as he opens the door, she goes and runs over to see him. So that was the end of that training session.